Hello everyone, Scott here, and I just got out of seeing Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald a couple days ago. Yeah, it's another one of these where I'm getting caught up again, but Fantastic Beasts 2, basically, is the latest Harry Potter Wizarding World spin-off with a big Wizarding World logo and everything. This is a weird one. I thought going in that this movie might be like the first one in a way where if you know Harry Potter lore, you're going to love the fan service but might get a little bored. If you don't know Harry Potter lore, you might be lost, and it just does not work as a movie for either party. I was even more wrong than that. See, that's exactly the case. I was with a few friends who saw it, and they hated it. They liked the first one better. Personally, I found there was more in this one that I found enjoyable. There's an opening jailbreak scene, which is some cool wizard fighting action. There's some action bits a little later on that were interesting, but for the most part, this Wizarding World continues to be a weird thing that I don't like, similar to the Mafia. Now, hear me out. I don't like movies like... I like Goodfellas, it's good, but movies like that where they glorify the mob and this way of life, and they, like, celebrate it, I've never liked that, because that doesn't appeal to me. Fair enough, right? Like, we're going to glamorize this. I'm like, yeah, but I don't like what you're doing, so it's not working for me. Like, you're glamorizing something I don't like. Doesn't work. So that's what this is. I don't like the Wizarding World, and yet I should, and I want to, but it always has this tenuous thing where the littlest thread can just break, and it's chaos, and people can be dead, and it's like, oh god, what have we done? Like, it's that level of danger. I remember in one of them where... in one of the Harry Potter movies where they're dealing with these mandrake roots and you need earmuffs, otherwise you'll frickin' die. Like that's a level of danger that's just too commonplace accepted for how dangerous it is. It doesn't work for me in that sense. I have a disconnect on that. And then there's probably a strange thing to harp on, but I mean there's a bit here where one little thing happens and a whole circus explodes. Like that happens in this movie. That's part of what sets it off. So it doesn't work for me. Plus, the magical world's rules are always things that all the wizards seem to know, and yet don't make any logical sense. And I understand it's magic. It probably shouldn't make logical sense. But it doesn't make sense from a filmic perspective where the audience can follow it. And you see my problem. Also, this is one of the few movies... spoiler, they're making 3 more after this one. It's one of the few movies where the bad guys are actually... more empowered at the end than they were going in, and nothing is resolved. There's nothing resolved. The one reveal we get at the very end, which we've been teasing the whole movie, we have no explanation for how it is or if it's even true. It's a raised parentage sort of thing where it's like, well, how do they know and is it legit? And we don't get the answer. So there's stuff like that. Amidst a battle, and I'm normally okay with stuff like this, but the ending battle with the big fire dragon, which looks really cool, there's scenes where, like, the choreography is literally hackneyed to a point where it's in one setting, and then suddenly they're standing in different areas, and there's no effect from how they got there to there. Normally, it's fine, and I followed the fight, but it was like, why are they there now? Like, there was a piece missing, it felt like, to establish how they got to this area. Normally you can wave that stuff away, but it was jarring because of how drastically different it looked with these archways they were standing in. There was this immortal character, which was kind of being played for laughs, as if you knew him, but we didn't. There was an aspect I learned about blood magic afterwards that they could have established nice and good for us, that they didn't. And it would have really mattered because there's a key plot point of things between major characters, protagonists and antagonists, that involves blood. Okay, there's major problems with this. It is a movie that assumes you know what's going on. It assumes you know that. But if you do, I again feel that you'll probably be a little bored by some of the fan service and where it's going. At the same time, if you don't know what's going on, not only is it a disservice because they don't explain these things to you, but also... it doesn't even explain things from the first movie. I saw Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And there's parts in there where it establishes that Newt is writing a book. He understands how the beasts work, how to capture them, how to care for them. This is 1920s, so he's figuring this stuff out. He's the forefront of his field. He's like the Darwin of magical beasts. He's figuring this stuff out. In the sequel, They assume you know that because he just happens to handle the beasts and has like a beast area. They don't actually ever once in this movie of its own accord say, "Oh, you're Newt Scamander. You are the author of Fantastic Beasts and where to find them, and you are therefore a foremost expert in these creatures." Granted, who would be going into this movie not having known the others? Literally one of our group was that. But I don't care how many people will make that argument. A movie should work of its own accord. Marvel movies, you can go into Avengers Infinity War not having seen any of the other ones and still be okay. You will benefit from having seen the others. You can see Ant-Man and the Wasp not having seen the others. You can see Captain America Civil War. You can see Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, or Ragnarok. You can see these movies of their own accord and they work start to finish as their own thing. This movie does not. It not only has an ending which is like the biggest sequel bait ever thing, and we all knew it would be. I spent the last 10 minutes going, well, so where's the cliffhanger ending? What's it going to be? And yet, I think I still might have enjoyed it more than the first one, even though the first one's a vastly superior movie, because it actually explains things kind of for an audience that might not be aware. This one, I found there was more entertainment in it, like, I guess action-wise, and that's just me. The characters, the first movie had Newt and Tina, which were kind of okay but bland and not very interesting. Very much a Dom and Mia type thing from Fast and Furious. It's the side characters, which were all more interesting. And that's what I found with Jacob and... I forget her name now. Not Goldie, that's Sin City. But those two. Queenie. They were more interesting. They were a lot of fun. They were interesting characters of like a normal person coming into the magic world, learning about it. That was our cipher. But also someone who's kind of just a casual, little bit of magic user and could read minds. That's cool, establishing the other levels of it. But what's neat about the movies, I will give free credit to, is that all the Harry Potter movies had these wizards who know their stuff, teaching kids, and we follow the kids. And then as they grow older, you get to see them learning the magic and harnessing it and having the battles. These movies, you just see adult wizards doing magic. It's neat. But we don't get enough of it, and the focus isn't even on them, which I understand that, but it also doesn't matter at all. And the ones we do see doesn't matter. And what we end up with is a movie that literally wastes those side characters, focuses on the ones that aren't very good, brings in other ones that aren't very good. They assume you know who they are. Like, it acted like this character was returning from the first. She was mentioned with a picture. Stuff like that. It's very problematic. And it has, like, good moments. Like I said, I don't regret watching it. I enjoyed parts of it. But it was very much in a Batman versus Superman way, where it was like, this is a bad movie. This fails on many levels on how you're supposed to tell a movie from start to finish, and how you're supposed to do things right to make sure the audience is understanding what's going on, and how characters work, and what their motivation is, and how they operate together, and why they're doing what they're doing, and the rules of everything happening. It failed on all of that. But the wizard battles were neat. That's this movie. So I can't recommend it, but if you are interested in seeing it, I would not talk you out of it. I guess that's the only way to really sum that up. If it's your thing, it's your thing. It is done fine box office wise. They will make more. It's fine. Don't worry about that. But that's it. I'll leave it there. I know it's not a glowing review because it's not worth it. But I didn't regret seeing it. So that's that. Thanks for watching. You can check out all my stuff on Cyclops Scott over on Twitch and on GuiltyPleasureCinema.com. The Cyclops Scott also takes you to Twitter and YouTube, and it's Guilty Pleasure Cinema over on Facebook as well. Those were out of order, but that's okay. I also do Box Officer every Sunday at 4. Ironically, for the holidays with December, I won't be. I'll be out of town for a while, but there are archives there for box office reviews and things like that. I'm also on Jabba Radio, JabbaRadio.com, and the podcast. I've recently been on They Must Be Destroyed on Site podcast. I do stuff with Reckless Eating and Zion Mainframe. It's been a while, but you'll see me in the archives. There's lots of stuff everywhere. Do check it all out. And until next time, I'll see you next time.